watching Angels Championship Baseball on Fox Sports Net.
The sun, the surf, and the stars all help make Southern California one of the greatest places in the world to live. For over 40 years, two baseball teams have occupied the area, but one team has always received most of the attention. But that changed on October 27, 2002.
The Angels, world champions!
Now this once friendly rivalry between two neighbors has received an injection of attitude. This is no longer the freeway series of love. Get ready, SoCal. The Dodgers and Angels are next on Fox Sports Net. It's an absolutely perfect evening at Edison International Field of Anaheim for Interleague Baseball. And tonight, Dodger fans, Angel fans, coming through the turnstiles, we expect 3 straight sellouts for the Freeway Series. That is, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Anaheim Angels. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physioc. This is the Wonder Dog Rex Hudler. It's that time of year again. Interleague Baseball, Dodgers and Angels. And interleague play, Rex, has been going on for 7 years. The Dodgers and Angels have met 35 times in the past, and it can't get much closer.
It's incredible when you look at the numbers, Fizz, and we're going to show them to the people. Look at the wins. Dodgers separate the Angels by just 1, and how about those hits? How can they be 1 hit shy in that department? And the 1-run win games, they're tied up at 7. Fizz, the folks can guarantee they better fasten their seatbelts. These next 3 games are going to be outstanding.
Trouble for the Angels. Brad Fulmer, their designated hitter, who's had a solid year, out for the season with a damaged right knee.
Tough blow personally for Brad, but that's going to be more time for Jeff DeBannon. Tim Salmon, you can see him in that designated hitter role more often, but there's that right knee just buckled, and whenever you hear that pop, that's not a pretty sign, and unfortunately for Brad Fulmer, he's going to miss the rest of the season.
It's a tough time for the Angels, and they'll have to step it up with starting pitching and quality starting pitching, like John Lackey delivered in Game 7 of the World Series last year. It's Lackey against the best in L.A., Kevin Brown and the Dodgers. Tonight, 1 week after playing L.A. at Dodger Stadium, the Dodgers took 2 of 3 last weekend, keeping Anaheim in a June gloom that's seen the Halos lose 8 of their last 11 games. Here's the Volkswagen starting lineup for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dave Roberts will lead things off. Will be followed by Holbert Cabrera, then Sean Green. Paul LaDuca has been scorching. Look at that last month, 3.77. Darrell Ward will bat 5th. Then Ron Coomer, Adrian Beltre, Alex Cora, and Cesar Izturis. The Dodge starting pitcher for the Anaheim Angels, that big Texan who was on the mound in Game 7 of the World Series and won the contest in brilliant fashion. He has struggled a bit this year. The kid from Abilene, some of it has been self-esteem, Rex. Some of it has simply been command.
A little bit high in that ERA, but remember, this kid's a young pitcher, and he's learning on the job. He's got good stuff. He just needs to trust it. He's out over that middle of the plate too often, but like I said, he's learning on the job. This guy's in his first full year in the big leagues. Good command. He just got to stay out of the middle. He's got good location, but he's got to execute in the strike zone with that fastball.
Well, defensively, you have to like the middle of the infield for the Angels with Eckstein and Kennedy, but Rex DeBannon is going to take over for Tim Salmon in right for a while with the injury to Fulmer.
That's right. It'll be DeBannon and gets a shot, and heck, he's earned it. He's produced. Spezio, Kennedy, Eckstein, Gloss, Lackey, and Benji Molina, the trusty back catcher for the Halos, is going to be calling for Lackey tonight.
Well, John Lackey's first pitch is catching the inside corner, strike 1 to Dave Roberts. Roberts having a solid year, the 31-year-old kid from Okinawa, Japan. 4th year in the big leagues. He was a graduate of UCLA. And there's a chopper. Tough play for Eckstein because he's got to hustle, and it is not in time. An infield hit for Dave Roberts.
Just another infield knock for Roberts. Leads the league, the National League, came into this game now with 24. This is 25th infield hit now. Look at Eckstein. He had a tough play there. Very tough judgment on that hop, and the throw was a little bit offline, but anytime a speedy guy, especially like Roberts, hits a little chopper, he's going to beat it out. Nothing against David's play there.
Well, they'll go with 3 straight speed guys in Roberts, Cabrera, and Sean Green. You think Sean Green, but he's stolen 13 bases this year himself, so the Dodgers have very good speed. Roberts is right up there in second in the National League this year with 24 stolen bases, so Lackey will watch him, and Benji Molina wears the Gold Glove from a year ago.
Nice percentage there for Roberts. Got a big lead.
He does not go, and the Angels pitch out.
This would be a little test for Lackey and Molina. Molina, if Lackey can give him a good quick throw home, he throws out 37% of the runners. It's pretty impressive. It's one of the reasons he wears the gold.
Jim Tracy knows he has to manufacture runs. This is his 3rd year as the skipper of the Dodgers, and he's done an excellent job with a team that is very soft offensively. Yes, they're brilliant pitching, but he feels that that offense will come around, that their theme has to be pitching and defense. Look at that. Yikes.
Well, this is the biggest category. So that's why they're dancing 1 game back tonight of the San Francisco Giants. Nomo's had a brilliant year.
The Dodgers at 45 and 32, 1 game, as you said, behind San Francisco. The Angels at 37 and 39, 13 and a half games behind the Seattle Mariners, and 7 and a half behind Oakland in the wild card chase.
Here's a guy, Holbert Cabrera, can handle the bat. That's why Tracy has a little bit of versatility in his lineup. Holbert's playing left field tonight. He's typically an infielder, but turning out to be a fantastic utility player. Being in that second spot is a real nice place to hit, especially when you got a guy like Roberts, who's a speed demon at first. That means you're going to see more fastballs, and every big league hitter will tell you they love the heater.
Roberts goes, pitch taken, throw to second base is in time. What a pick by Eckstein as the ball was in the dirt. Roberts thought he got his left hand in there, but Benji had it on the bag. It skipped to Eckstein, who made a nice pick and tag.
Nice all the way around. Lackey got the ball to Molina in good time. Jim Tracy's going to have a chat with Jim Reynolds, the second base umpire. Want to know, he's saying that he tagged him on the elbow. His arms beat it. Here's the throw. Roberts now getting thrown out for just the 5th time this year. Watch the pick and tag. Eckstein never moved his glove. We'll see if Roberts can get his hand in there. Look at the tag. Wow, that's close. Took us 2 or 3 replays to even tell. But Eckstein made that play. Barely moved his glove.
All I can tell you is right now, Doug Freeman's got an A+ because he had all of the tape guys and camera guys in order, giving us great looks. And there is a great pick by Scott Spezio. Wow. A looping throw by Troy Gloss, but they just do get Holbert Cabrera, so the Angels with fine defense to open this ball game, Rex.
And again, speed puts pressure on defense. You could see both fielders on both plays here with these first 2 hitters in the order. They had to rush it. Another chopper. Gloss, heck, he didn't even get a chance to get any momentum going. Spezio with a great assist there. And look at Jim Joyce, the first base umpire. Watch Joyce come around here in position. Look at that. He was on the play, on the call.
And Rex, you're absolutely right, because he could tell that he was blocked off by Spezio's front leg, so he raced to the side to make sure that Scott was able to retouch the bag. So now John Lackey faces the dangerous Sean Green, and Green swings and misses at the off speed. It's strike 2. Yes, Green has had low numbers this year, Rex, but when you check his history, you know this will change. And the Angels just hope it changes when he leaves Anaheim.
That's right. He's a very dangerous hitter. And he's just gotten off to a slow start this year.
It's hard to believe this is his 10th big league season, isn't it?
It is. I remember when the kid came in the league. Right here from Tustin. Tustin's 15 minutes away from this ballpark.
Up high.
Molina wanted it up there.
But Sean Green has seen these kinds of patterns. You remember his first year with the Dodgers hit only 11 home runs his first 2 months, and then 38 the next 4. So he can get streaky where he really carries the club, and he hits this one high in the air to right field. Jeff DeVannen says he has it, and he does, ending the inning. An infield hit for the Angels. Fine defense from Eckstein and Physioc. Coach Buddy Block has to like the way John Lackey operated in that first inning, although he's giving him some direction on head position. His head was not still in that first inning. And here's the Volkswagen batting order for the Angels now. Jeff DeVannen will lead things off. Darren Erstad will bat second. Then Tim Salmon got his 1500th base hit last night. Garrett Anderson will clean things up. Scott Spezio hits fifth. Then Troy Gloss, Benji Molina, Adam Kennedy, and David Eckstein. And our Dodge starting pitcher, 38-year-old right-hander Kevin Brown, and Rex that ERA the best, the lowest in the National League.
Well, Brownie's been dealing lately. I mean, that 2.2 ERA is pretty sweet right there. His innings, 105 1/3. He's healthy. Super sinker and a nice split finger. Those are his biggest pitches. Now he'll complement with a little curveball. If his sinker's not down, though, he can be touched up a little bit. But he is back in a big way. There's no doubt about it.
10 wins, 2 losses. Jeff DeVannen goes out to the first pitch and knocks it into right field for a base hit. So how about this? DeVannen taking over at the top of the order. David Eckstein still hitting ninth, and Jeff gets him started. Unlike Eck going after the first pitch.
Right, and that defense, they're dealing out there for sure. How about Cesar Izturis? He's played in 76 ball games. Fizz, only 5 errors. This guy's got great hands, and so does Cora at second base. Got a pretty good middle of the order up there with Roberts in center field. LaStuca behind the plate tonight. They rounded off pretty nice defense.
So now Kevin Brown will face Darren Erstad. There's a strike to Erstad. Kevin Brown roughed up in his last outing. It was against the Angels last Sunday. He allowed 4 runs, 10 hits in 5 innings, matching the shortest outing of the year for Kevin.
And quick feet there, Fizz. He's wanting to let DeVannen know right away that, hey, you're not going to go anywhere. DeVannen, 8 for 9 in stolen bases.
Jeff does not go, and Erstad takes outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Erstad leads all of the interleague in hits in the career. 7 years in interleague baseball. Darren's played them all and has 156 hits. He didn't lead off the last 3 games. That great year he had a few seasons back when he hit 355 from the top spot. Did DeVannen get hit? Yes, he did.
Wow. Right on the elbow.
Crazy bone.
How about that? Well, we'll have to see that again. That's kind of, this is a tough time of night, Fizz. I remember when I played for the Angels, at this time of the game, that sun that creeps through only here in the first and second innings, you can't see if you're the hitter. I mean, excuse me, if you're the runner. That sun's right in your eye, and it hits DeVannen right on the elbow.
Boy, first base is a tough place to be. Brad Fulmer last night blowing out his right knee. Now the Angels' Jeff DeVannen gets hit in the right elbow. Fulmer, a very difficult loss for the Angels to handle because he was having such a solid year, over 300 batting average with 9 home runs and 35 driven in. He will be tough to replace. And Ruxy can talk about that by the entire team because the Angels do not have a left-hander off their bench. They have a switch hitter they just called up in Sean Figgins.
Well, that, you know, makes Mike Scioscia become, you know, utilizes his skills. He's a very good manager. He knows how to use a bench, and he's going to spread those at-bats around.
Erstad chops it to Cora. They get 1. That's all they'll get as DeVannen clips the shortstop Izturis as he passes.
Alex Cora. Man, this is a real nice play here. He's got great hands, but see, some second basemen will go ahead and just take the out at first, but Cora and Izturis work very well together. That's a good hard slide by DeVannen, but look at the concentration here. You've got to get an out in this situation.
And it really is his first season playing mostly second base. He came up as a shortstop. I remember watching him in the College World Series. Tough loss for Miami, his team, against LSU. Way back, gosh, like 1996 when You were scorching the baseball all around the Big A.
Browning's velocity, it's back where it should be. That one there was at 94. You've got movement like Kevin Brown has. You know, you don't really need any other pitches. That good sinking hard 94 mile an hour is tough to hit.
And Rex, even though he was knocked around by the Angels in his last start, he has still been very, very hot. Salmon takes outside. I mean, you include last Sunday, and his record is 9-1 with a 1.66 ERA in his last 11 games. That is flat brilliant. Did they ever need him? Outside corner, it's 1-2 to Tim Salmon.
Well, there's the straight one. He's got a four-seamer he'll use. If he doesn't want to sink, he wants to dot the corner with a strike just like he did.
It's been a while for Tim to go deep. His 2 home runs in his last 47 games. Fine April. Oh, and he gets hit in the hand, and the Angels are getting bounced around. Devannon got nailed in the back of the elbow. Now Salmon gets hit in the hand. And Laz Diaz says take your base, and the Angels will have runners on first and second with 1 out. And Mike Scioscia wants to visit with Tim to make sure he's all right.
Whenever a hitter gets hit in his hands, it's always a delicate area because there's so many bones in that wrist. And they want to take a peek at it. Smitty's looking at it, and there's just a lot of bones that can, you know, be broken. But hopefully Kingfish is fine. Look at Smitty. Rick Smith out there doing a great job. Him and Ned Berger, they worked overtime last night on Fulmer, carrying him off the field.
Here it is again.
Right on the top of the knuckles. But one good thing there, Timmy's hand, his knuckle was, it just looked like it grazed the knuckle. It didn't hit him squarely.
Well, both players who may have changed roles with Fulmer out have been nicked early tonight. Devannon got hit on the pickoff by Kevin Brown, and now Salmon gets hit on the pitch by Kevin Brown. Well, here comes trouble, and Garrett Anderson, what a month of June he has had. And he taps it at the plate. LaDuca in foul territory. That is a foul ball, no play.
Look at these Angels sliding hard. Tim Salmon, he wanted a piece of his Sturis, and he got a little piece there. Look at the Kingfish. That's exactly how you play the game, especially after you've been hit. When you get hit, sometimes that wakes you up, and you're going to go and get a piece of one of his players.
That's twice Sturis has been knocked tonight, once by Devannon, now once by Salmon. Tim was a fine football player growing up.
And what's good about that is that was just practice. He gets another shot at it if GA hits the ground ball.
Anderson rolls one to the first baseman. They've got Walker Sturis to make the relay to first. It is not in time as Brown covered, and the Angels have runners in the corners now with 2 out.
You can expect these two teams to battle. Heck, I mean, I can't believe the numbers. 1 win difference. Dodgers with 18, Angels with 17 over the 7-year time. This is going to be an exciting series.
How about the hits? The Dodgers with 320 hits in the series. The Angels with 319. Can you get any closer?
Yeah, they're
just
already
by 1.
They're tied tonight with 1 hit apiece. Mike Scioscia, former Dodger great.
Well, here is Scott Spezio. His father is here. Ed, who played for the Padres, the A's, the White Sox. So proud of his son, Scott. And visiting with Scott's son, Ed's grandson today. They were playing catch out on the side of the field. Spezio, one of the stars in the playoffs last year with 19 RBIs, including that clutch Game 6 3-run home run that brought the Halos back. He takes it outside, and I asked Ed about that moment. What was it like for a dad? And he said, Steve, it was unbelievable because everybody in our area that we were watching the game with and the seats said they were all buzzing around, and he said they were actually dancing in the aisles when Scott hit the home run. There's a strike, and he said there was a guy in front of me that had predicted it. He said, you guys settle down. The Angels are going to come back and win. Speeds is going to go deep.
How about that? He ties a big league record. This game's been played for a long time.
Scott takes his strike. I asked Ed if he said anything to Scott after the game. Obviously, they saw each other. He said, you know, I can't remember what I said then, but I do remember what I said before the game. I told him, don't be afraid to be a star. Wow. One of the biggest home runs in the history of the World Series by that man. Outside corner, Brown paints the corner, and the Angels are done in the first inning. Brown walks. LaDuca now comes up to the plate. Top of the second of the Freeway Series, and John Lackey heads back to the mound. We talked to pitching coach Bud Black, and we asked him to give his scouting report on tonight's starting pitcher.
John Lackey, young pitcher, big, tough Texan, quality stuff across the board, great makeup, poise, composure on the mound, fierce.
Well, he may have been the Angels' biggest in-season personnel move last year, and it came almost 1 year ago. He has been strong at home in his last 2 starts, and that was after Rex, a poor home start in his first 5, where he had an ERA that was almost at 8.
Well, John's just been having a little trouble this season locating his fastball. Bud Black, you know, is cutting him some slack because he's learning. He's just a young pitcher.
Ground ball is sent to Scott Spezio. He delivers it to John Lackey, who grew up playing first base in Abilene, Texas, and he makes the play for the first out on Paul LaDuca. John Lackey grew up in Abilene, a town of about 110,000, located 175 miles from Arlington Stadium, and his father used to take him to that ballpark all the time to watch his hero, Nolan Ryan. Of course, Ryan, the greatest pitcher to ever don an Angel uniform, all-time strikeout leader, threw 4 no-hitters for the Angels. Now Lackey will take on Darrell Ward, who's from Southern California. Darrell chops one on the first pitch to Spezio.
Identical.
I'm telling you, that was almost like a replay. 2 out. Well, Corey Dillon is a great running back. He almost gave up on his NFL dream. He had the talent, but many questioned his attitude. But in one historic day, he ran into the record books. This week, find out about the Corey Dillon you never knew, as Beyond the Glory takes you inside the hidden world of sports' biggest stars. Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 8 o'clock, right here on Fox Sports Net. Two outs with Ron Coomer. Lackey delivers, and it is just off the plate at 92 miles an hour.
Without Fred McGriff, that brings Coomer into the picture. Good role player. Spent most of his career with the Minnesota Twins. A little bit of Yankee time.
And he's filling in for that man, Fred McGriff, who's one of the top RBI players of all time. On the DL for the first time, Rex. First time in his big league career. Wow. It's like Garrett Anderson. Just plays.
They call him the crime dog.
In there, 2-1.
Well, you know, during the course of the year, every team, every manager is going to have to go through guys getting hurt. That's why depth is important in minor league systems. Who do you have on the farm? Who can come up and help your team and deliver a big hit, help you win a couple ball games?
Coomer to center field. Darren Erstad will make the catch in a very comfortable inning for John Lackey. 1, 2, 3 go the Dodgers. When we come back, we'll see Floyd Loss take on Kevin Brown. Fox Sports Net presents Anaheim Angels baseball, brought to you by your Southern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. By SBC, ordinary people, extraordinary jobs. And by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab it by the horn. Dodge. Beautiful look at Southern California, and it is a great evening. We had June gloom at the beginning of the week, but HUD, the last couple of days have been roasting here in Southern California.
Summer's here. Time for the bats to heat up for the Angels and the Dodgers. They need some heat in them, that lumber as well.
Well, that'll keep you warm. Troy Gloss will lead things off against Kevin Brown. Lost in a major slump, not only 0 for his last 16, but in his last 14 games, Rex, he only has 4 hits in 56 at-bats.
You know, when he comes around, he usually gets hot. His patterns will show that. And last few years, he always has a down time in May and June for some reason. Then he heats up towards the end of the season.
Well, he sure did last year in the playoffs in the World Series, World Series MVP. But you're right, Rex. His numbers way down last year, 198 in June and July last year. And you would think your number 5 hitter at that time, and he's been number 2 earlier this week, but your number 5 hitter, Troy Gloss, for 2 months doesn't give you very much, and yet you're able to stay in the race. And they did it last year, staying in the race when their offense was slumbering because of fine starting pitching.
That's exactly what you're wanting right there for the playoffs and postseason. And we weren't sure what to expect from some of these guys because they've never been in a postseason game.
He chases a breaking ball out of the strike zone and strikes out. Second straight strikeout for Kevin Brown.
That was a filthy pitch by Brown. They always pitch Gloss tough, but this one here, super sinker. Looks good when the hitter sees it, and then when it gets to home plate, the bottom falls out.
Now Benji Molina with 1 out. Well, this is the 3rd straight year that Benji Molina's skipper, Mike Scioscia, has had a chance to go against the team he grew up with, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Benji Molina with a chopper. Adrian Beltre has a tough play. He flips it, gets his man. Nice play.
Well, Mike had to feel a little bit strange going back to Dodger Stadium this last weekend after having that World Championship on his finger, and they booed him. That's something he's never heard.
On a home run by Mike Scioscia.
You remember this moment? 1988 playoffs. Everybody picked the Mets to win it, but it was Mike Scioscia who came up with a game-winning home run. There's Mickey Hatcher.
Watch this throw here. Gets him with the high throw, but here's what made Mike famous. Blocking the plate with the ball, but still they didn't show. I thought we were going to see a shot of somebody crashing into it.
Mike knocking somebody down.
And I played against Mike in the National League, and in every scouting report we went against Mike, they always said be extremely careful for him.
He would drop those big old treat trunks on home plate. You couldn't get to it.
Technician. He knew how to do it.
It was like a roadblock he put there between home and third base.
He wasn't afraid to take a lick.
He brought some Dodgers with him down to Edison Field. Mike Scioscia brought Ron Renicky, Mickey Hatcher, Alfredo Griffin. So many Dodger connections, and Mickey was part of that '88 team.
You know, the rivalry between these two teams have heated up over the last few years, and so some of the Angel fans were like, what are you doing bringing Dodgers in here?
Great staff.
Great hire by Bill Stoneman. That was Bill Stoneman's first hire, was to get a manager. And he didn't care what uniform they wore when they played. He was looking for a guy who could help lead his team, and did he find the best they could find? Led them all the way to the World Championship, first time in 42 years.
And the Angels receiving great help. Alfredo Griffin with the infield, Ron Renicky at third base, and Ron works the outfield. Ron had a Gold Glover last year, and Darren Erstad. Adam Kennedy went from short to second base. And a swing and a miss by Adam Kennedy. And Kevin Brown strikes out the kid from Cal State Northwood. Great dining tonight at the Diamond Club. It's the Dodgers and Angels, game 1 of a 3-game series. Let's talk about the best damn sports show period tonight at 11 o'clock on Fox Sports Net. They have some of the funniest guys like Tom Arnold and John Sally, Chris Rose, and guess who's joined them? Kevin Kennedy. He's the baseball star. The Lakers' Luke Walton. How about that? Arizona Wildcat Luke Walton. That guy can play basketball. I watched him the last 4 years. Spurs, Bruce Bowen, and boxer.
This will be
Ali's daughter.
This will be Michael Irvin's last night on the show.
Is that right?
Tune in for his swan song. I wonder what kind of threads he'll be wearing.
There's a ground ball right at Adam Kennedy. Boy, the Dodgers got quick outs on John Lackey. John only threw 7 pitches in the second inning, Rex, and it seems like you look down at Lackey's numbers, and he has given up 112 hits in 89 and 2/3 innings coming into the game tonight. So maybe they're saying he's trying to be aggressive. Let's be aggressive as well.
Well, generally, the first time through the order, you're going to see a lot of fastballs, so like the Dodgers are looking to capitalize.
He had allowed 15 first-inning runs in his first 16 starts, but shut out L.A. in that first. And now Alex Cora. Alex now 27 years old, born in Puerto Rico. This is his 5th big league season. Bunt try, and it's a good one. Lackey as...
Oh, man.
Physioc turned his ankle.
What an athletic play by John Lackey right there to make it even close. It fooled Physioc. Physioc wasn't even on the base because he didn't think there would be a play. Great bunt by Cora, but look at Lackey. What an athletic play. Oh, yeah, and Cora kicked Physioc's ankle.
At first, I thought he turned it, but you're right. It was just kicked.
That play, Physioc didn't expect to be made.
Now Cesar Izturis, batting .253. Ball low.
Lackey showing some skills off of that mound.
You know, I thought their general manager, Dan Evans, did a great job in picking up this guy, Cesar Izturis. A lot of people weren't sure, but boy, Dan was, and he is solid and outstanding defensively. And he's just 23 years old.
Cora 2 for 2 in stolen bases this year. These are the two guys here manager Jim Tracy can put to work. He'll hit and run. These are guys, the skill guys. Guys that can handle that bat. Now they're progressing. They're young players and they're learning how to hit up here. But mainly their defense is what they're looking for when you have a pitching staff like the Dodgers. They don't care if these guys hit that much.
In there. It is 2 balls and 1 strike. But they have piecemealed things together. Jim Tracy, he was talking about the fine job that Dan Evans has done this year. And a lot of people are saying, well, they have to make a trade. They have to make a trade. Well, these are guys, I think, who are going to hit. And with their pitching and their defense, I don't think you want to knock around this bullpen or take someone out of that starting rotation after losing Darren Dreifert. But Evans was the guy who signed Hideo Nomo when many had given up on him and got Paul Quantrill and Cesar Izturis. And you know, one thing they don't talk about, a lot of people were saying the Dodgers were going to trade Eric Gagne. Dan Evans said, no, let's don't do that. And Gagne's turned into a superstar.
Pretty nice move he never made.
Swung on and missed. So John Lackey gets Cesar Izturis.
Nice movement here. Lackey at 92. A little bit of hair on that pitch. Moved away from Izturis. Sinking action. But what a shame about Dreifert going down. His stuff was as good as Kevin Brown's. And he was pitching as well as he's ever pitched after 2 Tommy Johns, not 1. That's an amazing comeback. And then his knee had to go south on him.
He had that one game this year, Rex, where he had 7 strikeouts in 2 innings. Can you believe that?
That's electric stuff, Iz.
I think Chuck Finley had like 2 or 3 games where he struck out 4 in an inning. Of course, a wild pitch or a pass ball with that split finger. Dreifert, nasty stuff. Just missing high. Dave Roberts, the batter, reached on an infield hit. Lackey's allowed 2 hits. Both are infield hits. The single by Roberts, the bunt single by Alex Cora, who's still at first base.
Dave Roberts, I remember his first big league home run was in this park against the Angels when he played for the Cleveland Indians.
Outside corner at the belt. 2 balls and 1 strike. Angels trying to get back on track. They have struggled recently, losing their last 4 series after winning 4 straight series. The Mets took 2 of 3, the Mariners 3 of 4, the Dodgers 2 of 3, and the M's most recently 2 of 3. Fouled out of play with Cora going. Mike knows they need to pick it up.
Yep, that's not going to work, especially that ERA. That ERA is not going to work.
And really, it's only that low because of the job that the bullpen has done. Mike has told us every time we talk about consistency, fellas, consistency starts with starting pitching. Ortiz has done a nice job recently, but Jared Washburn, a Cy Young candidate last year, could not hold on to a 4-0 lead last night, and the Angels fell to the Seattle Mariners, the American League West leaders. Roberts again with a big rip, fouls it back, and a wonderful catch by a man in red in the club level. How about that? Go ahead, take the tie off.
And
you're at a ball game.
The kiss, the little sugar right there to go with it.
He made an excellent catch.
It's going to depend tonight's ball game, Fizz, is who can get to whose starter first, because we're seeing 2 of the best bullpens in the game right here. Dodgers and Angels got 2 great pins.
And Hud, you talked about the bullpens. Well, our graphic specialist Mitch Reinhardt says the Los Angeles Dodgers even better than the Angels this year. 1.98. The Angels at 2.81. That's incredible.
The Hyundai leaders.
Lackey brings it, and Roberts sends it to Garrett Anderson in left field. That will do it for the Dodgers in the 3rd inning. We're looking for a first run. David Eckstein will lead things off against Kevin Brown when we come back. Kevin Brown, John Lackey, pretty good pitching duel in the 3rd inning. Select seats in the Toyota Terrace are now only $5 for all Monday through Thursday Angel home games. $5 tickets are limited and can only be purchased on the day of game at the Edison Field box office while quantities last. For more information on this great new ticket offer, visit angelsbaseball.com. They've lowered concession prices. They've lowered the prices in the gift shop. They have lowered ticket prices. We've had great crowds, and we'll have 3 sellout crowds here this weekend against LA. David Eckstein grounds out to the second baseman Alex Cora. And after the leadoff single by Jeff Devanna to start the ball game, Kevin Brown has erased, let's see here, 6, 7 of the last 8. He did hit Tim Salmon on the hand.
Mike Scioscia leaving Eckstein in that 9 hole for the 3rd game now, just to try to make sure he's good and ready. He's responded.
David's one of those guys that does not care where you play him. You put him in the lineup.
Look at
And
that.
how about Jeff Devanna? 2 for 2 off Kevin Brown. Devanna, sharp turn at first, but he'll hold there.
Devanna with that little elbow pad now he's got on that elbow where he got hit by Brown at first base. So check him out going the other way. Devanna, look at that. He reaches out. Now his hips are already exposed, but his hands and his eyes stayed back, and he went with it off the end of the bat.
It was almost a poor man's Ichiro swing.
Just a real nice opposite field knock, and he's got that because he's able to keep his head down on the ball. He didn't pull it off like sometimes he does.
Now Darren Erstad chopping one to first base. Ward goes that way, and they will get Jeff Devanna. This is much like the inning number 1. Devanna reached on the hit. Erstad could not advance him as he reaches on the fielder's choice.
Darrell Ward, though, he's pretty confident over there at first base. I know a lot of first basemen that would just take the out at first on that.
Now Tim Salmon. Salmon got a line single to right field last night, his 1500th career hit. And he goes after the first pitch and hits it to center field. Dave Roberts there. Quick inning for Kevin Brown. Gives up a single to Jeff Devanna. That's it. 0-0 going to 4. Top of the fourth inning, Kevin Brown against John Lackey. Let's check out our Aflac trivia question. The Angels have had 3 All-Star catchers in their history. Who are they, Rex?
I'll tell you. You want me to?
Later in the game.
Oh.
You got it. Here is Holbert Cabrera. Benji Molina hopes he can be an All-Star catcher this year. He has very deserving numbers. He's had a terrific offensive year, and you know all about his defense, wearing the gold glove and taking it away from Ivan Rodriguez of the Texas Rangers. Cabrera had 3 hits Wednesday, and the Dodgers' 6-0 win over the San Francisco Giants. Giants took 2 games of that 3-game series, first 2 by 1 run. Cabrera to center field. Here comes Erstad. The gold glover will make the catch, 1 down. John Lackey at his first full big league season. It was about this time last year that the Angels promoted him, and Lackey won 9 of his 13 decisions, moved Scott Schoenweiss to the bullpen, and made the Angels' rotation much stronger and their bullpen much stronger. The Angels got to the playoffs for the first time in 16 years. Lackey comes up and in on Sean Green.
It's a good pitch. Green with an open stance. He's able to see the ball. Look how he's looking right at Lackey.
In the air, left center. Garrett Anderson calls off Darren Erstad. 2 outs.
Glenn Hoffman, third base coach. There he is. Hoffy, former Dodger manager for a little bit of time. And T-Bone John Shelby, former Baltimore Orioles player. We were teammates, and we called him T-Bone. Great man. A lot of kids. Loves him. From Kentucky. I love him. He's my teammate.
Oh, just the way you delivered that. It was beautiful.
I'm learning from you.
It's like a slideshow. Beep. Beep. Here's Paul LaDuca.
Look at he's getting his second start in that cleanup spot. Will he respond?
Yeah.
He's got pop.
You know, Hud, I saw him one game at Arizona State, and he was a terrific hitter. Hit .464 one year. But because of his size, he was not a high draft pick. In 1993, out of ASU, he was taken in the 25th round. And it just tells you how difficult it is to scout baseball players.
Well, number one, what they look for in a catcher, if you don't have size, they'll look at the kid who's got size. So a guy like Paul LaDuca is going to have to really impress with his bat and his throwing skills and his signal calling.
Well, he's impressed a lot of guys with his bat. All he does is hit. I mean, a career batting average for a catcher close to 300.
Yeah, it's impressive. But he can hit to all fields. And he's in his 5th year now, I believe.
Pops it up right side. Jeff Devaney pulls it down. Another easy inning for John Lackey. 4 shutout innings. We head to the 4th. It's Garrett Anderson time. Mr. June. Bottom of the 4th inning we go. Let's check out our Aflac trivia question and answer this time. The Angels have had 3 All-Star catchers in their history. Who are they, Rex?
Lance Parrish, Bob Boone, and Brian Downing.
1979, and then Downing later would move to the outfield.
They could possibly have a 4th this year, depending on
They should.
his manager, Mike Scioscia.
I don't know if he's going to have many selections. I think he's going to get done, and his picks will come, and there'll be about 4 teams that have not had selections and need to be represented. Mike might have to take one of them. Well, here is Garrett Anderson. He takes strike 1 and then takes strike 2. GA having a fine interleague year. Check out these numbers. Well, hops. Ooh, outside. Hey, and Rex, I love the line that Steve Bishop of the Orange County Register had in his article about Garrett Anderson last week. Garrett sends one to Cesar Izturis and throws him out. But Steve said This guy is the epitome of cool. Next to him, even Tim Duncan would look rattled. I thought that was a great quote.
That's good. Perfect demeanor to be a ball player.
Mr. Cool.
Peaks and valleys. Another nice crowd. And these players, let me tell you, they love it.
Over 120,000 in the last 3-game series with the Seattle Mariners in the middle of the week. Physioc to Darrell Ward. Brown covers and 2 outs. And there's many critics of interleague baseball. I'm not one of them, and this is the reason why. The fans love it. It's a fans' game. The difference almost 6,000 per game, Rex.
Yeah, I like that too.
I mean, you and I were pumped up to see the Phillies and the Mets for the first time. And now the Dodgers coming to town, and Southern California sports fans are abuzz.
And the Angels have to get a little more respect this year now because they're in the same fraternity as the Dodgers. They've won a world championship.
Well, one team that does not want to see interleague play is the Florida Marlins. That's because tonight the American League Boston Red Sox have scored 24 runs on the Marlins. 24-6, and they set a major league record with 10 runs scored before the first out was made in the game.
25. They just scored another one.
It's like the stock exchange. Keeps going up. Strike 2 to Troy Gloss.
Ooh, and this is not what the doctor ordered for Gloss. Look at that. There's a score. That's right. That's not the number of the pitcher.
14 of those runs in the first inning.
Sometimes some scoreboards have the number of the pitcher that's pitching that night. But this isn't what Gloss needed to face Kevin Brown.
Gloss gets a base hit with 2 strikes, Rex.
I'm excited and shocked at the same time. But that's what he's been needing. A lousy single to right field. And you can tell he feels relieved by looking at him. 0-2. Look at him reach out. Now his backside went out, but he was able to keep everything in and go with it to right. That's a nice piece of hitting. He shortened it up. He made an adjustment. I like it. How many times have we seen a swing like that from Gloss this year?
Not that often, and usually when he starts hitting him to right field, he gets hot.
Uh-oh.
But that's just one. Now Molina up the middle. Alex Cora gives it to Asturis. And another hard slide by the Angels. We've got a duel. Brown, Lackey. Scoreless ball game with the Dodgers and Angels. He is one of the most controversial sports figures of all time. Now Mike Tyson and those closest to him speak out like never before. If you think you've seen everything on Mike Tyson, think again. On July 16th, Fox Sports Net presents Mike Tyson, a Beyond the Glory 2-hour special event. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Okay. Now when they add that at the end, you know something bad's going on, so
that means you're not going to watch it.
Well, I'm going to be policing my children. We're all about being positive, optimistic. I'm a disciple of the Rex Hudler School of Enthusiasm.
Right on. But John Lackey, he's liking what's happening here. Low pitch count. Going into the 5th inning, just 44 pitches thrown.
He bounces that breaking ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. John only threw 9 pitches in the 4th inning. He had another 7-pitch inning, so you're right. Hud economy.
He leads the staff with 71 strikeouts this year, and that's largely because of that curveball we just saw him throw. It's got a real good bite to it. Changeup.
And that one kind of hung up there, said hit me on it, but the batter was so far out in front. Timing.
Change of speeds. 92 to 79. That'll do it.
Darrell Ward, the batter, the 27-year-old kid from Linwood, California. And he chops one at the plate, and he does not look comfortable against John Lackey at all. Ward turned 28 today, so changed that from 27 to 28. He has birthday with Jim Edmonds of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Happy
birthday today.
Way to go. Jimmy Edmonds?
Yeah.
How old
and
is he?
33.
Wow.
Rico Petrocelli is 60. The old Boston shortstop. He was young then.
That's
He
right.
is middle-aged now.
We
as
all
we
were.
approach that number.
At one time. That's why it's so important that ball players during their young days really get the best and the most out of their time, especially hustling. I was in the Dodger locker room today talking to some of their young players about how nice it is to be retired now, but the people remembered how hard you played. That's important, how you hustle.
Ground ball hit right at Adam Kennedy. He's low to the ground and fires out Ward for the first out. And Rex, this might be the best game we've seen John throw this year. His efficiency, his command in the zone has been excellent. Again, we're only in the 5th inning.
Well, we're not quite halfway yet. So John Lackey's starting to get his rhythm. He's starting to locate his fastball, but confidence plays a big factor in young pitchers. They've got to get confidence. They got to feel good. And even if they don't have their best stuff, they've got to sell it to the opposing batters. They've got to let them know with their body language that they know what's going on. Lackey earlier this year would be shaking his head, and he looked like he didn't know what was happening, and the hitters fed off him.
And 2 guys, Kevin Apier, actually 3, Kevin Apier, Aaron Seeley, and Jared Washburn would get on him about that, showing his emotions, and said, John, forget about it. Don't worry about the umpire's calls, the blue pitch, or a fielder making a bad play. Just let it go and focus on the next pitch. Here's the 0-1. Slider that is hit to Troy Gloss. Physioc tags Ron Coomer as he runs by for the 2nd out. So John Lackey, that football, basketball, and baseball star at Abilene High School, growing into a pitcher in the big leagues. He was mainly a first baseman in high school and an all-state performer, hitting .541 as a senior. In there with the breaking ball.
See, that's the pitch right there. He wouldn't have thrown that last month because he didn't have confidence in it.
Well, Beltre's the guy that got John Lackey in his last start on Saturday when he gave up 4 runs in 4 innings, and it was a 3-run home run by Beltre that really knocked John out of the ball game.
Beltre hitting .213 coming into this game, Fizz, has been the subject of a lot of trade rumors, not just now, but last year as well. And a lot of people, Dan Evans included, didn't want to give up on it because they know that it takes time in this game to develop.
Ground ball hit right to Scott Spezio. Lackey's got it going tonight. 5 shutout innings. Terrific duel between Lackey and Kevin Brown. We'll be back with the bottom of the 5th. Fox Sports Net presents Anaheim Angels baseball, brought to you by Nextel. Call 1-800-NEXTEL-9, and by Volkswagen. Visit your favorite Southern California Volkswagen dealer today. Bottom 5 we go. A beautiful evening at Edison International Field under the big hats. And a sellout crowd. Edison. Sold out tomorrow, sold out on Sunday. Adam Kennedy will lead things off against Kevin Brown. Brown has been excellent, allowing 3 hits, 2 by Devannon, 1 by Gloss. Kennedy chases 1 in the dirt. Strike 2.
Here we are in the 5th inning, and that right arm of Kevin Brown's is swelling a little bit, and not in a bad way. So when your pitcher throws that hard, it gets a lot of whip action in it, man. He's got veins going everywhere.
I have never heard pitching described that way.
Well, I'm going to tell you,
going everywhere.
I faced it. Look at that. Look at that road map. And that is a
there's the 91.
Lethal arm.
57 north is right there. There's the 210 crossing over.
That's 95 miles an hour right there. That's what that does.
I-95. Kennedy takes outside. Count goes to 1-2. Brown needs 7 wins for 200 in his career. He's now 38 years old, from McIntyre, Georgia. Population of about 11,000, straight out of the Andy Griffith Show. Comes from a chalk mining family. Did you know that? His dad worked in the chalk mines for 45 years, his uncle for 40 years, and when Kevin Brown was called up by the New York Mets to try out, he said no because he wanted the security of his co-op job and school, studying to be an engineer at Georgia Tech.
Getting close to 200 wins now. Eh?
Here's the active list, and you see where Kevin Brown is. Rocket just got his 300th. And, you know, Clemens, it was so hard to get to 300. Now it's so hard to get to 301, and he's pitching well. Maddox just 21 shy. Kennedy again making it tough on Brown after he got 2 quick strikes on him.
Familiar sound I'm starting to hear now, Fizz.
The halo sticks.
I'm starting to hear them. They're waking them up since the postseason. Not quite the racket, but it's still June.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner.
Kennedy goes down twice with the punch out. Look at LaDuca setting up inside. This ball just froze Kennedy. It looked like it was in, but look at how the late movement came right back over the plate. Late movement, a little sinking action back. Kennedy's going to have to go. Laz Diaz on the call. Nice style points by Laz. Home plate umpire.
That's 4 strikeouts for Brown on the night. Now David Eckstein with 1 out. David grounded out to the second baseman his first time up. See what David has done his last 2 games, 6 for 7. A couple of runs scored and a home run. And I talked to David, and he said, I just got back to the way I swing. I was listening to too many different ideas about what I was doing wrong. And he said his brother took some videotape of him at batting practice, and he said, David, you're dropping your hands. You need to stay on top and go straight through the ball. Bottom hand dominate.
That's right. Now you get advice from all kinds of people when you're in a slump. Your mother, your friends, they all call and they all have some advice for you. And you're
Don't tell me Annie has given you advice on hitting.
Whoa. She knew how aggressive I was, and whenever that pitcher threw one in the dirt, I'd be swinging at it. She said, son, you'd have a better chance with a boat oar in your hand.
Ground ball hit to Beltre. 2 outs. Join your favorite Angels players and coaches during a special appearance tomorrow, Saturday, June 28th, beginning at 10:30. Join the crew from Radio Sonido at the Anaheim Marketplace, located at 1440 South Anaheim Boulevard in Anaheim, for music, fun, and the Angels. Caravana de Los Angeles is brought to you by Bank of America, Kraft Foods, Miller Lite, Kimberly-Clark, Radio Sonido, and Excelsior. Now Jeff Devannon 2 for 2 against Kevin Brown. Shows bunt and pulls the bat back, and they say it missed the strike zone. Well, Jeff Devannon will be playing a lot more with the injury to Brad Fulmer. Last night Brad tore up his right knee and is gone for the season. So Devannon likely will see some time along with Eric Owens and Sean Wheaton.
Ooh. Yes, they will. But Devannon, many people thought he would be in that lineup regardless of who was out there, because how hot he was on that road trip they had a couple weeks ago, where he had 3 consecutive games with 2 home runs. When a guy's that hot, sometimes the manager will just ride him out till he cools off.
Brown has it. Underhand to Darrell Ward, and Devannon is out. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Kevin Brown. No score through 5. The Angels searching for a quality start, and they've received one thus far from John Lackey. Hey, this week Fox Saturday Baseball returns when Miguel Tejada and the Athletics take on Barry Bonds and the Giants in a showdown between Bay Area rivals with bragging rights on the line. It all begins tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific on Fox.
Another great rivalry that's done very well with the crowd is that Giant A's matchup.
A's got him in that first round. Well, John Lackey's been so efficient. I mean, only his 56th pitch, and that is through 5 innings already. That is a strike 1. He's had just 1 free ball count. And he blows that fastball right by Alex Cora, who's down 0-2. John in that 5th inning was just as sharp as he's been all night long through 13 pitches, 11 in the zone, only 2 pitches missed. And you know, at 0-2, not a bad purpose pitch.
Now, sometimes hitters will look for something away in that situation, then that high fastball shocks them. Now it's going to go with that changeup off speed, or it's a curveball.
Hud, it almost looked like Benji Molina was just trying to change Alex's line of sight. You get one up in your eyes, and then one. What's that like as a hitter?
Especially a fastball before a curveball. Now the curveball starts sometimes the same plane as the fastball, then it drops so much. So it is very deceiving. But I really didn't know about the raising your sight line until I got in the broadcast booth. As a player, that never bothered me.
I'm just thinking, if you go to one location, so often the hitter gets comfortable in that location.
Right.
You know, I thought Brett Boone got comfortable against the Anaheim Angels. Good pitch by John Lackey, and he strikes him out. And I say that, Rex, because Boone was leaning over the plate and didn't see too many inside pitches.
So Lackey doubles up with a curveball. Cora had no chance.
That might be the boat oar right there that your mom was talking about.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you get friends that call you, maybe your high school teammates, and they're going to figure out a way for you to get hot again. All of a sudden, they know it all.
Now Cesar is tourist. John Lackey now with 2 strikeouts in the game, and Cesar takes a strike. But Rex, your thoughts about Boone? I mean, he was really comfortable at the plate,
right,
diving over the plate.
He was so comfortable that he told me he was going to hit a home run the next day. And I went in there after game 2, and he goes, "Hud, I'm going to go deep tomorrow," and he did.
That's how comfortable he was.
Right.
Confident.
He's hot, and when a player's hot, it doesn't matter who's going to be pitching. But you got to raise your eye level and lower it.
There's a bunt try, and Gloss lets it roll, and it rolls foul.
Nice.
And that is strike 3.
A little bit too fine was Isturis. Now that's a real nice element of surprise, and a guy like Isturis can pull that off with 2 strikes. But it's too fine. You want to go ahead and make it all the way. Watch quick hands of Gloss. If this ball hits the bag, that's a fair ball. Ooh, and Gloss was right on it. And so was Dale Scott, the crew chief. Got a little bit of spin heading that way. Got to be patient. Can't touch it fair. Foul. Boy, it's a game of inches, isn't it?
You were all over that.
It's a good play with 2 strikes. You got speed, and they're playing you back.
Beautiful bunt.
Yeah, you just give yourself up a little earlier. You don't have to worry about disguising the bunt or hiding it.
And Maury Wills, the former great Dodger, has worked extensively with the Dodgers on their bunting skills.
Now, sometimes that doesn't make the pitcher happy whenever you get a base hit off him 0-2, but who cares? You're trying to beat the pitcher.
Absolutely.
I remember I did that to John Tudor, and John Tudor stared me down and said some unkind words to me.
Oh, let's don't use him. I know this is a cable show, but
Roberts is very good with the bunt. That's a weapon you don't see a lot in today's game because players, you know, like the long ball. Don't chicks dig the long ball too?
That's what Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine say. And they were trying to go deep as soon as interleague play came around, and they never did.
But any way you can get on base when you have fresh legs, you want to do it.
Fouled off.
There's a little slash and dash hack right there. Paulie LaDuca, he's going very good. His wife, Sonia. Oh, excuse me, that's Dave Roberts. Wrong one. That's Trish is his wife. That's who I wanted to talk about.
in the air, right side. Devannon should have it. And Rex will be able to play center field, so maybe you can tell Doug Freeman, would you get a shot at Dave Rivers so I can talk about his wife? How about this play, buddy?
That's right. Look at Gloss. Quick.
Time for some cotton candy. Then call your dentist. 1-800-DENTIST. Family Zone is out in left field. Yum, yum. A sold-out Edison International Field. Here's our Lexus Angels upcoming schedule. 4 with the Texas Rangers starting Monday through Thursday, at Oakland for 3, and then home to Kansas City and Minnesota before the All-Star break. Kevin Brown has been excellent through 5. He will face the middle of the order, number 2 hitter Darren Erstad, then Tim Salmon and Garrett Anderson. There's another strike 1 to an Angel, and Kevin Brown has thrown strike 1, Rex, to 17 of the 20 batters that he has faced.
Talk about confidence. He's got it. He's got the pitches to back it.
He's back. A chopper to the right side. Darrell Ward takes care of it. And that's a third straight little chopper that Erstad has struck in the game, and he is 0 for 3. Rex, with Jeff Devannon getting the start in right field, that moved Tim Salmon to his new role as the designated hitter. We're not sure how long that will last, because they've got Sean Wooten, a good hitter who can DH. But what do you read into that situation?
Well, the last year or so, we've been hearing rumblings from the front office that they were wanting to make Tim Salmon a designated hitter. Now, every position player who's played over 10 years in the big leagues in right field, like Timmy, he doesn't want to be a DH. He says, it's a little bit too early for me. But when Fulmer went down last night, he felt really bad for Brad Fulmer. But then all of a sudden he started thinking, oh no, now they're going to segue me into that DH spot. So he's mentally ready for that. He's got a world championship ring. He's played his 10 years, and he has slowed down a little bit in right field.
And Rex, you wonder if he'd have the same attitude that he has about the All-Star game. He said, I already got what I want, the world championship. He'll take that over 10 All-Star games. Fouled off by Tim.
But being a designated hitter is not all that easy. After playing a position for as long as he has, now you have to get used to just hitting full time, and the mental anguish that goes along with just making outs is very difficult. You go back to the bench, you sit for an inning, maybe 2, before you get your next at bat.
Well, he does have around 700 career at bats as a designated hitter, so maybe it won't be that uncomfortable. Chops that one to third. Adrian Beltre throws him out. 2 gone. We talked with Mike Scioscia about Tim Salmon's new role.
He understands the importance of him having to stay in touch with right field and play it, but also he understands and he accepts the responsibility for what's better for the whole club. And right now, him taking a little more of a DH position is going to help us to get more creative with some lineups and do some things. And that's what and also with him being able to stay in touch with right field is going to give us options too.
It's all about options, but mainly it's about mental attitude and being a team player. And Salmon at this stage, like we talked about, he's ready to do whatever it takes for the team.
Now Garrett Anderson. And Garrett rips one to right field. That will be to the wall. G.A. around first base. He leads the American League in doubles. He might go for 3 as it got hung up in the corner. It is a 2-out triple for Garrett Anderson.
G.A.'s 4th triple of the night. Sean Green tried to play it to Karam. Really nice swing there, down and in pitch. But you can see this ball hugs the wall, but it hits one stop right over here, and there, bingo, that gives him that extra base. He just kind of shoots around there, and Green was ready to hold him to a double, but then it hit the pad. So with 2 outs, nothing should be hurt unless Physioc can come through with a clean single or more.
That was Garrett Anderson's 50th extra base hit of the year. That leads the American League. And now Scott Spezio. Spezio struck out his first time grounded out in his last at bat and chops one towards first, but foul, and the count goes 1 ball, 1 strike.
You're going to see a lot of ground ball outs from Kevin Brown because he's got that good downward movement to the sinker and his splitty. I believe he could get by in a game by just throwing his split finger.
12 ground ball outs already in this game for Kevin Brown. That'd be a little test on his elbow, wouldn't it? After the split finger?
No, I meant sinker.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sinker.
Yeah, I meant sinker. Because when you got a natural sinker like he's got at 94 miles an hour, I mean that's a pitch hard to hit.
Physioc takes one right in the corner at the knees. A beautiful pitch at 2-2.
LaDuca sitting on the outside corner. Watch him frame it up. Look at him hold it right there. Helps Kevin Brown.
Outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Physioc trying to break the ice. Dodgers, Angels scoreless in the 6th. Troy Gloss waiting on deck. This is the first 3-ball count for Kevin Brown tonight. He's thrown 75 pitches. Physioc, left center. Dave Roberts, final out. Through 6, 0-0. Gem by Lackey and Brown. Nothing ball game. Los Angeles and Anaheim. Let's check out the Mercedes-Benz scoreboard. Giants over the A's 3-0. And the 5th, it is the Mariners now leading the Padres in the 5th 3-2. And Rex is circling that Red Sox score. You want to talk about that one. Red Sox 10 runs before an out was made in the ball game. That's a major league record.
Wow.
14 runs in the first inning. Tied the American League record for runs in the first inning.
That's right.
The record 17.
That's a baseball score.
But 25 in the game. The record for most runs in a game is 29 by the 1950 Red Sox and the 1955 Chicago White Sox. There's a shot by Holbert Cabrera down the left field line. Garrett Anderson fires to second base, but Cabrera too quick and has himself a leadoff double.
Cabrera sneaks it by Gloss. Garrett Anderson takes a lot of pride in balls down that line. He nearly made it close. Kennedy tried to rush the tag. Holbert's in there in time. Leadoff double.
Lackey had retired 10 in a row. Now faces the dangerous Sean Green. Green goes after the first pitch that is up and in on his hands at 91 miles an hour and fouls it off, strike 1. Green has flied to right, flied to left, 0 for 2. He has been struggling in June, but always a threat. You know his history, and he will break out anytime.
For that leadoff double, he'd love to pull one hard on the ground to the right side. Try to get a clean base hit, but move the runner over in the process.
Way high. 1-1. Buddy Black, Ron Renicky, Mike Scioscia. Green takes. Now he's down in the count, 1-2. Lackey had allowed only 2 hits in the ball game before the double, and both were infield hits. An infield hit by Dave Roberts and a bunt single by Alex Cora. That was it. Now John has to go through the toughest part of the Los Angeles order. Green, hitter number 3. And LaDuca, the hottest hitter on the team, and Darrell Ward. In the dirt, and it'll bust away, and there goes Cabrera to third base. It hit right off the face mask of Benji Molina. Let's listen to it.
Wow. Curveball way short. Sometimes in a game like this, it's a nail biter. 0-0. A little play like that can make a huge difference.
No question. The Dodgers have the #1 pitching staff in the National League and in all of baseball at 3.17 is their ERA. Brown is their very best.
You see Erstad. He's deep up in center field. So is Devannon. He's way back in right field.
Infield's in though. There's a shot to Spezio. He'll touch first base. Cabrera has to hold. You couldn't ask for much better than that.
Boy, that's a big out. We'll see a little pitch-by-pitch sequence here. High fastball, almost got a little pop up there. They're trying to pitch him up, you can tell. Heater on the corner, and this curveball way short. Molina couldn't do anything with that. Another high and tight fastball that gets the job done.
And now Buddy Black will talk to Bengie Molina and the entire infield on how they want to play Paul LaDuca. LaDuca has been their hottest hitter. 377 the last month. And at Edison Field, this is like his home away from home. He's only played 6 games here as Paul LaDuca, and he's hit 3 home runs and 2 doubles in Anaheim.
I haven't watched Jim Tracy manage enough to know if they squeeze, but this is a situation they could. He handles the bat, but a guy, you know, your hottest hitter batting in that 4th spot, and they're probably going to let him hit, but now Angels are going to walk it. This is a good move.
Trying to set up the double play with Darrell Ward. LaDuca has been the hot guy. And you don't mess around with Paul. He had a 25-game hit streak earlier this season.
Yeah, there's no way they would squeeze Paulie LaDuca with that stat right there. 392. They'd let him swing away, but the Angels knew better.
The one thing about Paul, how many times do you have a cleanup hitter who can bunt? And Paul can.
That's right. That's why it entered my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, this is a good opportunity for this. But Tracy's a very smart baseball man. Got a lot of help there with Jim Riggleman.
First walk of the game for either team, and it was intentional.
That's LaDuca's 3rd intentional walk this season.
Darrell Ward is grounded out twice. That's exactly what the Angels' John Lackey needs right here. Ward ground ball. Adam Kennedy. Eckstein 1. First base. There it is.
Just what Bud Black ordered.
Heck of a baseball game tonight. Defense, pitching. Tracy versus Scioscia. And Lackey has a shutout through 7.
Timely.
John Lackey, clutch pitching after a man was on 3rd base and nobody out. Sean Green first, Rex.
Oh, just real nice execution by John Lackey. It's like he set him up and wasting that leadoff double by Holbert Cabrera. Pitcher's best friend. Ooh, juice ball.
Darrell Ward, the #5 hitter, bounces into a 4-6-3 double play to end it. This is the way you want to see it. Hey, Rex, remember that graphic at the beginning of the ball game, how even? Well, here we go. I mean,
right.
The Angels, actually, with the 1 hit more than the Dodgers, they have now have the same amount of hits in the history of the Angels-Dodgers Freeway Series. And the Angels now have taken the lead in that department, and it's Gloss Rex to right field.
2nd base hit for Gloss tonight, and both of them to right field. That's a good sign for Gloss, in trouble for opposing pitchers, as whenever he does that, he starts getting hot. We've seen him before get hot like this, and pitchers have been throwing him out there. When they throw him out there, he goes ahead and just stays with the ball and flips it out there. Nice piece of hit. We've seen it before, how he's had tough months and tough struggles, and then when he comes out of it, it's always those base hits to right field that do it for him.
Molina showing bunt. It broke down, and Benji pulled the bat back in time. Ball 1.
Molina doesn't bunt a whole lot. In this game, it's going to be the little things that make the difference.
Benji again shows bunt, and they'll pick off Troy Gloss at first base, but Troy gets that foot back in time.
In that Seattle series, Molina squared around to bunt the first time, fouled it off, and then they gave him the green light, and he flew out.
Benji bunts first base side, and a good one. Only play is to Darrell Ward. You know, Adrian Beltre, Rex, was rushing so hard down that third base line, it seemed like Benji said, you know what, I'm almost changing up in the middle of the stream, because Beltre was about, what, 30 feet from home plate?
But this is great bunting here by Molina, a guy who doesn't do it very often. His first one of the year. Look at the knee. His knee is almost on the ground there. He squares up in plenty of time. Watch him soft with his hands. Bunted the top half of the ball. That's what you want to do to get the ball down.
So now it's the Angels with a man in scoring position, and Brown will try and be like John Lackey, pitch out of a jam. First pitch, ball 1, barely missing to Adam Kennedy. AK has struck out twice against Kevin Brown, and he came in 3 for 6 against the Dodger ace. In there. Boy, that is a pretty pitch.
Fighting. That's right. Sean Green with the best throwing arm in the outfield there. In right field, he's deep.
Guillermo Mota warming up in the Dodger bullpen. Kennedy chops one to Brown. Looks third, throws to first, 2 down. The Angels now have a man at third base, but 2 out for David Eckstein. How tough is Kevin Brown when guys get on base? Look at that. And you know, Rex, in the last 30 years, nobody has a lower batting average against with men in scoring position. As Kevin Brown came into this game, opponent's batting average with men in scoring position was 125, the lowest since 1974.
Well, this is what great pitchers do. They pitch their best ball with men on.
Eckstein chops it foul. David has grounded out twice in the game. Once to second, once to third. He peeks down at Ron Renicky, the Angels' third base coach and a former Dodger player.
Now they're playing Eckstein heavy to the right side and heavy to the left. Look at the area right here. Big, big area.
Eckstein goes alley, left center field. That's a base hit, and the Angels take a 1-0 lead. Eckstein going for 3. He is in now.
Eckstein saw the same big hole we did, Biz. Big hole up the middle and to left center. He went with it. Timely hit by the X Factor. Fastball down low, short, quick swing. He stuck it. Roberts playing him all the way into right field. No chance. Brown is enraged right now.
Now Jeff DeVannen comes up and he swings and misses. That's the first pitch, strike 1. Tracy, pitching coach Jim Colborn. Just a good at bat by David Eckstein. And Eck at third now as he's traded places with Troy Gloss, who's come home to score. DeVannen showing bunt, pulls it back. It's 1-1. Lackey pitched out of trouble in his half of the 7th. Brown could not escape the X Factor. If LaDuca does not pick that, it's 2-0 Anaheim. What a backhand
by Paulie. He picked that like no problem. They're setting up inside. Ooh, man, just got in the webbing of that glove. LaDuca made it look easy. Soft hands. That's a big time play right there.
Eckstein at third. Brown with a 2-1 count. Bannon takes low, 3 balls, 1 strike. Jeff has gotten Kevin twice tonight. Singles his first 2 times up. Last at bat, he bounced back to Kevin Brown. Halo alert. Halo sticks featuring Francisco Rodriguez tonight, and they hope they see some frenzy hitting, as Rex calls it. First things first, and Jeff DeBannon now takes a strike. It's 3-2 from Brown. Brown has thrown 90 pitches now.
Real nice location for Brown. He'd like to duplicate that, put it on the same spot. DeBannon, he likes to pull the ball.
Off his foot and off the left side.
Angels batters doing a lot of hitting the top half of that ball tonight. DeBannon with good speed. If he can top one and place it right, get an infield hit and an RBI. Brown looking for the clean punch out here.
Again, DeBannon topping that baseball. Rex, those sinkers and sliders and splitties all. How do you square up that?
Yeah, they're really hard to hit. And Brown has a heavy sinker, so whenever you hit the ball, most of the time off the end of the bat, like we've seen a lot of Angels batters do, it feels like you're hitting a shot put. It's that heavy. Scott Erickson had one of the toughest ones that I've ever faced. Hard sinkers.
DeBannon. Cora up with it. No! The Angels will score their second run on an infield hit by Jeff DeBannon. On a play like that with DeBannon's speed, Alex Cora had to be absolutely perfect, and Rex, when he dropped the ball, it was goodbye.
The way Brown's been pitching tonight, a lot of guys hitting ground balls. I knew that he had a chance to beat one out, but he placed it in the right spot. Cora almost pulled out a gem. When it took this bounce, it kicked away from him, and Cora now has to make the transfer. See how his gloves turned the other way. Typically, a second baseman has his fingers laid down when he makes that play, but Cora had his glove turned over, and he just couldn't glove it. Brown not upset at Cora's effort, that's for sure.
Well, it was just like you talked about, Rex, with that sinker slider that he has. You said Jeff DeBannon had to top one probably somewhere well placed, and it was. And it makes it a 2-0 Angel lead.
Playoff atmosphere.
David started it.
Wouldn't this be some kind of October entertainment?
Well, first things first, like I always say, and as Mike Soch would say, let's play them one game at a time.
Yeah, but could you imagine the Dodgers and Angels?
That would be magical.
Be a lot like the Mets-Yankees series they had up there.
And the American Leaguers won at that time. Yankees dumping the Mets in 5 games a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. Good pitch inside, low corner to Darren Erstad, who 3 times tonight has just barely grabbed the top of the baseball and rolled to the right side. Dodgers and Angels have never made the postseason in the same year. Angels came in 13.5 back of Seattle, 7.5 back of Oakland. Oakland, though, losing to San Francisco 4-0 in the 7th inning. The Mariners are up 5-2 in the 6th on the Padres. Pitch out. Soch was not running.
Nope, he might just sit tight here with 2 outs. It's not a bad situation to run. If DeBannon does get thrown out, Erstad will be leading off in the 8th. first base umpire Jim Joyce. I like it. He's on it. He's on the calls. Very close over here. Right hand to the right back corner of the bag. That's textbook by Devannon. That's where you want to go. And that makes the first baseman have to tag you all the way to the back of the bag.
Devannon has been a thorn in Kevin Brown's side. The new leadoff hitter, Mike Scioscia, penciled in tonight, has done well. 3 hits and a run driven in. Now Erstad trying to drop it to left, and that's a base hit. Devannon stops at second base. So the rally continues with the Angels collecting their 4th hit in this inning.
With Mota loose in that bullpen, they're counting on Kevin Brown to get this last out here.
Mota is ready. The Angels with 2 in the 7th, and they have 2 on with 2 out. The damage all taking place against Kevin Brown with 2 out. Salmon goes around. It is strike 1 from Kevin Brown. One of our cameramen, who they are all outstanding, as they've done many Dodger and Angel games in the past. They were able to pick up Jim Tracy mouthing the words, "I got to go get him." But Jim has not yet. And now Salmon rolls one to Adrian Beltre, who gets the force at second base. But the Angels with 3 straight hits. It produces 2 runs off Kevin Brown, the top pitcher in the National League this year. Eckstein got it started, Rex.
He'll find a way to factor in.
A sold-out Edison International Field, enjoying a 2-0 Angel lead, as our Jack-in-the-Box game summary shows the Angels with 2 runs and 4 hits in the 7th. Lackey pitching out of a jam in his 7th inning, and he's allowed only 3 hits. Eck with a big triple to break the 0-0 tie, and Jeff Devannon with a terrific game. And now to lead things off against John Lackey, it will be Ron Coomer, Adrian Beltre, and Alex Cora. This is by far John Lackey's best game of the year.
Going into the 8th inning, only 83 pitches thrown, is a gem.
Foul back, and that is almost like his game 4 in the American League Championship Series against the Minnesota Twins, where he threw 7 excellent innings, and not one Twin reached second base in that game. Just dominated. That was possibly the best game of his career. He's throwing a wonderful performance right on the corners against the Los Angeles Dodgers, 1 game back in the National League West of the San Francisco Giants. Coomer takes it inside, 1-2.
That's a nice location there to back him off. Sets up his curveball, slider. Kind of performance that the Angels have been expecting from Lackey.
Ground ball. Eckstein got a hustle. Foul.
We've got some kind of pitchers too. Kevin Brown out there dealing, throwing that nasty sinker. Look at that. And we got John Lackey. 2 extremes. 1 young pitcher, 1 pitcher that's well seasoned. There's the 1 big hit. Eckstein found the gap and got 3 bags out of it, and Kevin Brown was not happy with his location on that pitch.
There's a base hit to right field by Adrian Beltre. A 1-out single by Beltre, and that will bring the tying run to the plate in Alex Cora. Hey, we've seen some wonderful work tonight by our camera guys, our guys in the tape room, Norm Larson, Doug Coughlin, Mark Wiedemann, Vance Edwards. Great, great stuff. Brendan Donnelly's warming up in a hurry. Bud Black just has to love the performance by John Lackey. Only 87 pitches working in the 8th inning. Starting pitchers will tell you 12 to 15 per inning is great, and he's been well under that. Fouled back. That pitch was up, though, for Alex Cora. Cora and his tourist, the next two batters, are looking for their first home runs of the year. And do you know how many home runs the Dodger infield has? 4. 4 total home runs with McGriff on the DL. Line drive, base hit, back up the middle. Soch was ready to go. Buddy Black was on the phone. I think they're going to let Brendan Donnelly get another couple of pitches in, and now here comes Mike Scioscia.
Well, Lackey just is finding a little bit too much to the plate here. And they're getting their base hits. That'll be it for John.
Well, a heck of a ball game for John Lackey. He will leave after 7 1/3 innings. The 2 on base belong to him, but a guy will walk on the field, Brendan Donnelly, who has done a remarkable job this year. Two nothing Angels, top of the 8th, 1 out, 2 on for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Coming up after the game, it's the Southern California Sports Report. It's 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to the home team throughout Southern California. Angels Dodgers coverage. Of course, Venus rolls at the Wimbledon, and the paper boys break down the NBA draft. That's coming your way immediately after the ball game. Well, John Lackey can't pitch much better. 5 hits allowed. 1 walk, and it was intentional.
That's the big stat there, the Zippo.
But 2 guys on base belong to him, but he knows he's handing the baseball to one of the best setup men in the game. And that guy is right-hander Brendan Donnelly. 2 on for L.A. with good speed in Beltre and Cora.
And it'll be pinch hitter Larry Barnes stepping in, and former Angel.
Fresno, California. Donnelly, unbelievable.
He'll work that sinker slider, but it is unbelievable, Fizz. Look at that ERA. It's incredible.
He has allowed Rex only 5 hits in 56 at-bats with runners in scoring position. 0.89 batting average. That is the best number in the game. Broken back. Little liner. Kennedy. There's 2 on 1 pitch. Donnelly does it again. Lackey will go to greet Brendan Donnelly as he just handles every single pressure situation in top form.
And that'll bring Lackey a smile. Kennedy gloves it before it hit the ground. Easy toss. He's out.
Fox Sports Net presents Anaheim Angels baseball, brought to you by Hyundai. When your car comes with America's best warranty, you win. By Jack in the Box. Jack's got new 3 ultimate salads, Asian chicken, Southwest chicken, and chicken club. And by your Southern California Ford dealers. See your Ford dealer today. Game 1 of a 3-game series here at Edison International Field. Brendan Donnelly, flat outstanding all year long. An ERA that is right around 0.4. And now he'll rest and watch Garrett Anderson come to the plate. And the new pitcher is Tom Martin.
He's a left-hander. Fastball, slider, changeup. Got a nice ERA, 2.38. Filled in nicely. And Fizz, let me tell you, this guy, it hasn't been easy for him to get here. 5 shoulder operations he's gone through. That's a lot of surgeries. A lot of rehab time.
But he's thrown pretty hard, 93 on that run fastball. And now Garrett Anderson belts one high in the air, deep to left center. The new left fielder, Larry Barnes, comes in and takes it away right at the Budweiser side. Holbert Cabrera came in from left to play short.
But how about Brendan Donnelly comes in and throws one pitch. One pitch to Larry Barnes, a pinch hitter, and he lines it into a double play. And when you're going good, things like this happen.
Lackey needed that pick him up, so he goes 7 1/3, shutout baseball, and there's Physioc down the right field line into the corner. Scott has a double with one man out.
I just read his lips. He said, "How'd I do that?" Mercy, it's Percy. They're not going to let Gloss hit here.
They will intentionally walk Troy Gloss to get to Benji Molina, who's been pretty clutch this year.
He's been pretty clutch, but he also hits into a lot of ground ball double plays. Benji's hit into 12. So this was an automatic no-brainer for Jim Tracy.
It will be the second walk by either team in the ball game, Rex, and both were intentional passes. How about that?
It's been just well pitched. And now Tracy's going to come out and make another move.
Guillermo Mota was warming up when Kevin Brown was struggling in the 7th inning, so Mota will get the call, and he has been excellent for the Dodgers, the #1 bullpen in baseball. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Anaheim Angels with a 2-0 lead on the Los Angeles Dodgers and trying to make it more with 2 on, 1 out. Well, you know, in the World Series, home field advantage means everything. Now, for the first time ever, baseball's best square off to determine which league gets home field advantage come October. It's Major League Baseball's 74th All-Star game as the brightest stars gather. But this time, it's more than just bragging rights. This time it counts. The 2003 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 15th, only on Fox. Guillermo Mota is the new Dodger pitcher, 32nd game this year, and they have really brought him along nicely. Jim Colborn and Jim Tracy putting him in good roles, and Rex, he's been excellent this year.
He sure has. 12 walks to 44 strikeouts. That's a strikeout an inning for Guillermo Mota. He gets it done with a mid-90s fastball, slider, and a changeup.
29-year-old right-hander from San Pedro de Macorís, Dominican Republic, will face a tough situation with Physioc at second, Gloss at first, and Benji Molina with terrific numbers with men in scoring position. Mr. Clutch.
Ooh, man, you got to be careful when you step off like that you don't flinch and balk.
Molina takes his strike.
LaDuca's seeing something he's not real happy about. Maybe he is talking about coming to a stop. The rule book says you got to come to a complete stop before you deliver the pitch, or it's a balk, and I think that's what Paulie LaDuca was telling him. Because there was nothing wrong with that 94-mile-an-hour location right on the outside corner.
Molina belts it to left field. Barnes is back. He runs it down. Physioc halfway to third, retraces his steps to second. But Benji again with good wood on that baseball. And Barnes, they found the new guy twice, and he's done a lot of running in left field.
Ball has a way of finding you when you come into the game. Mota coming back with that look like an off-speed pitch at 84 miles an hour. Molina was on it. Barnes cradles it in right at the wall.
So 2 outs now for Adam Kennedy. AK 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. That was against Kevin Brown, so he goes after the first pitch from Guillermo Mota, guessing fastball, and he got the off speed.
Change up at 85.
Kennedy, base hit right field. Renicky will send Physioc. The throw by Sean Green to the plate, not in time. Throw to second. Out!
All right, that run scored before they tagged Kennedy out. That's all he wanted.
But Mike Scioscia comes out to argue, and he is sprinting to the second base umpire, Jim Reynolds. It's Percy time. He didn't even need to wait for Scioscia to call him out. Fox Sports Net presents Anaheim Angels baseball, brought to you by Jack Daniel's Country Cocktails. Remind you to live colorfully but drink responsibly. Game 1 of a 3-game series, the Freeway Series. The Angels and the Dodgers. It's 3-0 Anaheim. And Hud, how about our Nextel Direct Connect?
Well, there's no doubt about it. The X factor factored in as he gapped one here off Brown. It was the big turning point of the game for the Halos, and Brown knew it.
A direct connect Stein. David comes through.
That'll work.
Angels. Troy Percival now comes on. Their close king, 13 for 14 this year. He's on the DL for a little bit.
Percy, fastball, curveball, changeup.
Strike at the knees to Dave Roberts. He must go through the top of the order. Roberts, Cabrera, and Green. Roberts has an infield hit off John Lackey, who is in line to win the game, and it would be his 5th win this year. If the Angels win this game, Rex, check out their last 4 wins, all 10-game winners. Jamie Moyer twice, Kevin Brown twice. That's a pretty good pitcher, and Mike Scioscia knows he's got a good club. They have just played so inconsistently this year. Oh, Roberts, 99 miles an hour. Check it out, Rex.
Well, I'm not so sure that that gun is working properly if at 99. Percy is around 96.
Give him credit. It said 99 in our Fox box.
Well, then he threw 99.
Roberts, center field. Darren Erstad makes the catch. 1 out. Our Gatorade player of the game in a well-pitched contest has to go to John Lackey.
No doubt about it. Lackey, this is his best performance I've ever seen in his young career. Hasn't gotten a full year under his belt yet.
Now Cabrera, who doubled in his last at bat. Percy rips it on the corner at 95. Maybe the best start of Lackey's career, allowed only 2 runners to advance past first base. That Minnesota game in the American League Championship Series, when the Angels needed him to come up big time, was certainly incredible. And then, of course, I know you're laughing about it. Our stage manager is Dean Benson. He's one of the finest people in the world, but he just got drilled by a foul ball. And look, John Lackey and Jared Washburn are looking up at you.
Hey, but Lackey's our Gatorade player of the game, and look what he's drinking, Fizz.
Lackey's Washburn. Look, wave at Washburn, would you, Dean? Wave at Washburn.
Ooh.
Popped up. Dean Benson hangs out of our broadcast booth. Oh, and he took it right on the coconut again. So twice in one game, Dean has taken it. The Angels and the Dodgers. It is Troy Percival who grew up knowing about the series when it was just the exhibition games. At the end of March, he drove from Riverside, California. The 0-2 pitch. Curveball misses high. Game 1 of a 3-game series, the Freeway Series. Nothing until the 7th, the last of the 7th, when the Angels scored 2 runs and 1 more in the 8th. Popped up right side again, but it will be out of play.
Percy throwing more off-speed pitches since he went on the disabled list with that problem in his hip joint. And that actually has helped him. His curveball, when he overthrows it, it's real short. It doesn't break to its full extent. But when he takes a little bit off of it, he gets a nice little roundhouse curve to it. It's very effective.
Cabrera steps out. Oh, that is, geez, up around the belt, 96 miles an hour, and he rips it by Holbert Cabrera for strike 3.
Percy just rearing back. Ball's by you. You see a nice angle here. Percy coming right at you. Good balance, good follow through, and a little strut.
Now Troy Percival will face Sean Green. Green takes low, ball 1. And Rex, when you take a look at the way this game started, Kevin Brown versus John Lackey, a young pitcher versus a veteran, and starting pitching was the strength of the Dodgers. Nothing ball game. And the strength of the Dodgers, they had the edge on the Angels bullpen. And yet it was Donnelly again and Percival now. Green grounds out, and the Angels take game 1 of the Freeway Series. Lackey the victory, Percival the save. That will do it from Edison Field in Anaheim. Final score 3-0 Halos. For Rex Hudler, I'm Steve Physioc. Now let's take you to the Southern California Sports Report with Barry LeBrock and Carolyn Hughes.